So I've been doing my shoulder work, all the different motions for the shoulders to get them warm for some exercise I have coming up. I've been doing some core work as I'm walking, all incorporated with my walk. Doing some lunge walking, good for the legs. Remember when you're walking to use your arms a lot. It's good for your brain. It's the cross crawl pattern. Just like when babies learn how to crawl, we can incorporate that while we're walking to strengthen our brain and its connection with our body. So it's left leg forward, right arm up, right leg forward, left arm up, and really get them pumping. So I was doing a bunch of walking, I'm warmed up, so now it's time to stretch. One of my favorites. You could start with your leg low and use a lot of support and let all your weight go into your hands and just lightly stretch your legs. And this side right here, you can come up a little higher and still keep the weight in your hands. You can even come up here and keep the weight light and just get a light stretch through. Or as you progress, you can start to take weight off your hands and get more into longer reaches where you're relying on lengthening the muscles more while you're keeping a little bit of tension to keep control. You want to stay up and in a good posture with your muscles lengthened. You don't just want to fold over and lose the stretch. But always start with your leg down first and with taking as much weight off your body as possible with your hands by leaning on something. And eventually you work your way up. Nice long stretch. And then you can even explore a little. Shoot this hip, this back hip here forward a little bit. That really puts a little more pull here. Go back to the middle, it puts it on the side. Shoot your bottom back and just roll your shoulder forward lightly and it moves it slightly to the back a little. These muscles are great to stretch, especially because we're tilting side to side, even if it's a little bit reaching into our desk or reaching into our glove box in the car. All sorts of things. Those muscles are getting worked all the time. Leaning over to get a fork or a spoon out of the dishwasher or out of the drawer. Thousands of little bends and twists these muscles are doing all day long. And the better we care for them, the better they do all those things we ask them to do. Not just those little things, but the big things, like the hike, like the vacation, like the long drives in the car, to see family, like the bike ride, like climbing a mountain, like skiing, like playing with grandkids. All that stuff benefits from taking care of yourself. Makes you able to enjoy it more, feel younger, and do it throughout your entire life. We want to limit as much as possible pain, suffering, aggravation, feeling old. We want to minimize that as much as possible from getting in the way of the plans that we have for our life. And to spin that into a positive direction. Health is the best way to do that, but that's just really a side bonus, avoiding all the bad stuff. The real benefit is all the good stuff and the good health and the good life and the good memories and the good experiences you have because you have health. I'm going to do a couple more stretches. This stretch, gonna hold on here, shoot the hips back. It's a nice stretch down the back of the legs, over the bottom, into the low back. Drop the right hip back and swing to the left a little. Come back into the center, get that stretch again. Another switch, straight. Another stretch, swing to the right. Get a nice long stretch. That's a great stretch for low back, hips, hamstrings, legs, all the way down the leg. This is also another big stretch for that. So this is probably advanced, so we should probably start somewhere down here. You can just start by pulling on the back of that leg a little by putting it out into a lunge. If you lift it up higher, it pulls into that hip a little more. And then if you can go all the way up, flatten the leg out, you really get deep into that hip. However, if you're starting out, you can start out all the way back here. Up nice and straight and tall, not leaning back. You want to protect your back. Hold your core in and lift up, and you can get a light stretch there. Or as you lean forward, lean up and lean forward. Don't fold over. Lean up and lean forward. And you can feel the tension come into that hip. Stop wherever you are. Breathe and relax. If it gives you more space, take more. Little side note, this stretch is awesome, not only because of it's a great stretch, but being on this bridge here with this water here, it's reflecting the sky and the trees, and it's just beautiful. It's almost like the top of the tree without the leaves on it is like the root system underneath. Reaching up for nourishment, just like it reaches down for nourishment. Beautiful. God's amazing. Do both sides. With this, you can even do a little side exploration to see what's tight. Find yourself leaning over, or you find the tension comes off the muscle. Sometimes you just bring it back up and reset. Start from the beginning. Nice long stretch. Great stretch here. I'm going to do a stretch for the hip flexor. So, even though this leg, the front leg, is up and is going to be getting a nice stretch through the back of the leg and the back of the hip, also the front side is going to be lengthened down the front of my thigh, into my hip and groin area, and up into my belly. So I want to stay tall so that my top is pulling up and my bottom is pulling down, lengthening that muscle. If I lean forward, I take that tension off, right? If I lean forward, I do this. If I lean back, I do that. If I bring my knee up, it does this. If I let my knee drop down, it does that and lengthen. So first I get in the position with the leg long and the body up, and then the back leg, I start to drop the knee down and just create that length. Really good stretch in the front. This is for people who sit in cars a lot, drive a lot, sit at desks. Your knee comes closer to your belly when you're sitting, and that shortens all the muscles in the front. So doing this kind of stretch to open that up really helps to lengthen the muscle, take out the tension, create space for the muscles, create space for the back, create space for the spine, and counteract all those stresses we put on ourselves 8 hours a day, 9 hours a day, 10 hours a day, or whatever it is with sitting. The less sitting, the better. And a little tip about sitting. It's not like you could sit a lot and then get up for an hour and erase it. It's better to get up more often than it is to get up for longer periods after extended periods of sitting. So to say that more clearly, get up as often as possible. It's more beneficial to counteract the stresses of sitting. As always, do both sides. Legs straight out in the back, hips square to the front, up nice and tall. First, let some tension go into that foot that's up. Let the natural tension happen in the hip here. Remember to stay up, to keep that separation up, and then drop that knee down in the back. And as you do that, you'll feel your heel come off the ground and you'll go up more on the ball of your foot and toe. If you want to stay in stretches longer, do light tension and breathe and relax and let the muscle lengthen slowly. If you're going to be in for a shorter period of time, you can allow a little more tension on the muscle, but always remember, just do a little, let the body stretch. If it gives you space, take more. Don't fight it or wrestle it. You can always do more tomorrow, but you never want to overdo it. Great stretch. Usually I counteract that was straightening the leg that was bent. And never worry. If you forget, you can always go back and do the other side. Or do another round. I'm going to do some shoulders. Let's do some shoulder stretches. Put the one arm out. Let the arm lay down on the board. With the other hand, push gently up and open up this shoulder up this way. You can reach your hand up. Nice and relaxed. That you're dipping that front leg down to create and hold the body up in the right position, and you're just letting your arm stretch lightly, but your legs are there to protect you. My shoulder's not holding my weight, it's just stretching. Great stretch. Same arm you're stretching is the same leg that should be in the front. Put your hand on, lay your shoulder down, lay your arm and shoulder down, reach back this way, get your arms in position so you have good balance. This is just fine. If you're here, that's fine. If you're here, that's fine. Wherever you're at is the best spot to be. You don't want to go past where you're at to do what somebody else is doing. Build from where you're at. This is a great stretch. So many times our shoulders are rounding when we drive, when we work, when we text, when we watch TV, when we sit down, probably even when we sleep. So to open that chest up is real good for your posture, your body, your spine, your muscles. Probably even to keep that all up open in here is good for digestion too. So let's find a way to do that. So let's lean forward. I'm going up on my toes. Let my hips come forward, but I'm still staying long. I'm not crunching backwards. So I'm doing a little bit of traction while I'm reaching up and looking up and lengthening the front. This is good for strengthening and stretching the stomach, the front of the body, which is good for digestion too. And then I counteract that with a back stretch.